All Renegades of Puck to the trenches. It's time for Renegades of Puck TV. Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the essence of no half-stepping. I am your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier, and before we get started, as I am going to do to begin every episode from now until February the 25th, the night before the Stadium Series, we are going to tell you about the home base freakout. I cannot wait for all of you Renegades to join us at Tailgate Brewery on Music Row, 1538 Demondrian Street for the home base freakout. We have so many incredible guests, and we are starting to roll out those announcements. Just before coming on the air today, I found out that the Grim Reaper himself, Stu Grimson, will be in attendance at the home base freakout. Former Nashville Predator, former Nashville Predators broadcaster, NHL hitting, fighting legend, Stu Grimson will be at the home base freakout. He will, of course, be joining former Nashville Predators captain Mike Fisher, as well as a myriad of other incredible special guests, including Haley Murphy from Couch Guy Sports, Allie Lacombe, Teresa Walker, Eric Young, and so many more. The Renegades of Puck are all scheduled to be in appearance. You can meet me. You can meet Chauncey Smith, Brian Baston, the Ultimate One, and Kay Perk. We're still working on getting Mostradamus here, so if you happen to see Mostradamus out there, let him know. We really need him here at the home base freakout. We cannot wait to see each and every one of you. It is going to be a night for all ages. Everyone is welcome. No cover. We will have to check for ID at the door, and we will have security. We'll also have outdoor options available for getting beer and getting food. It's going to be an incredible night at Tailgate Brewery. We cannot wait for each and every one of you to join us. Please go to renegadesofpuck.com. And again, home base freakout's going to come up yet again. We are talking about brand new merchandise just released there in our brand new store, and that is home base freakout merchandise. We have t-shirts of every size, every color, every shape, and we would appreciate if you would get a jump on that and go ahead and pick up your home base freakout merchandise right now. We also have all of the classic gimmicks that you've come to love and expect from us. We have the classic logo t-shirt. We have our Pride logo t-shirt. We also have socks, throw pillows, bed sets, wall art, and just about any other gimmick you can possibly imagine. Remember, the Renegades of Puck have sold out so that you can buy in. And everything you buy, any profit we make, it goes right back in here to the bunker to help us build out our vision as we continue. We will not stop building and growing the trenches until we have completed that vision, and until we are a planetary-wide entertainment entity, I will have not completed that vision. So again, you can check all that out at renegadesofpuck.com. Social media is so critical to what we are doing here in the bunker and in the trenches. That is how we have chosen to fight this war. So we would need each and every one of you. Give us a subscription on YouTube. Listen, going from 0 to well over 100 in just 4 months, that is great, but there is still so much room that we can grow, and we're going to continue growing as we head towards home base freakout, getting in front of so many more eyeballs now, and we are so appreciative of that. Every one of the social media platforms out there, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Of course, you can find us on SoundCloud. You can find our behind-the-scenes stream on Twitch. So if you like to hear me cursing, you like to see me warming up, and you like to see what goes on behind the scenes here at the bunker, well, you'll get the information before everybody else. You'll also get to see how the show is put together and how it's made. That's exactly what that Twitch feed is there for. It's just to help you see a little bit more of my world. And it's a different way for you to consume the essence of no half-stepping. Become a partner of the show. Simple. Go to Venmo, scan the QR code. Look for Renegades of Puck. Donate anything that you can, whether it's $1, $10, or $100, as one of our incredible Renegades recently did. We sure would appreciate that very much. That is helping keep the lights on. That's helping us keep our supplies, and it's also helping us accomplish a lot of the things we need to do moving forward. There's so many things going on behind the scenes that you don't know about. I am trying to get to a point where we not only can rent a hockey rink and have a full night out for the Renegades of Puck to have an all-skate, but I'm looking to build a hockey club here in the future. More on that coming up down the road. But put that one in the back of your mind. Renegades of Puck Hockey Club will be coming, and we are currently collecting funds through Venmo to help get that operation and that part of the essence of no half-stepping started. Speaking of no half-stepping, you guys come here for the no half-stepping hockey coverage, right? I heard you, Renegades. Don't worry. Let's get into it. Your Nashville Predators have hit the midpoint of the season. They have played 41 games now. They have a record of 24-14-3. They have wildly exceeded all pundits' expectations to this point and find themselves in third place in the Central Division with 51 points, 2 points behind the Colorado Avalanche. They're in third place because the St. Louis Blues also have 51 points, but the St. Louis Blues have played 2 fewer games, so they hold multiple tiebreakers over the Nashville Predators. The Predators in third place hold a 4-point advantage over over fourth place Minnesota, and they hold an 11-point advantage over fifth place, their next opponent, the Winnipeg Jets. 13-point advantage over the Dallas Stars, 15-point advantage over the Chicago Blackhawks, and who in the hell cares about the Arizona Coyotes? On home ice, Fort Bridgestone is not quite the impenetrable fortress that it once was. The Predators only have an 11-7-0 record, recently dropping games on home ice to some very bad teams in Buffalo and Vancouver. The Predators scored 125 goals for. They've given up 115. They have a goal differential of plus 10. Looking down in fifth place in the Central Division, you'll find the Winnipeg Jets. They've played 6 fewer games than the Nashville Predators. They have a lot of a schedule to make up. They have a record of 17-12-6, 40 points. 11 points behind the Nashville Predators, a road record of 7-6-5, a goal differential of plus 2, 105 for, 103 against. For the Nashville Predators, we have become accustomed to them playing the Winnipeg Jets in Central Division play many times each and every season, but this, in fact, will be the second of only 3 meetings between these division rivals. And as a matter of fact, the third meeting will be coming up very shortly. It'll be a reschedule and a makeup. I have more on that in just a second, on February the 12th. Let's go back and revisit the early season, though, when the Nashville Predators and Winnipeg Jets played the first time, and it was in Winnipeg on October the 23rd. Stastny had 2 goals against the Preds. Sissons, Cousins, Yossi, and Tomasino all had goals for the Nashville Predators, and UC Saros just got absolutely shellacked in that game. Only 23 out of 29 to take the loss. So now the second meeting out of 3 between these two Central Division rivals. After the Preds wrap up this game, they'll also wrap up the homestand on Saturday when they host Detroit. And then Tuesday night, they'll be heading off to Seattle for the first time ever. The Nashville Predators will be visiting the Seattle Kraken. They'll be playing them for the second time this season. The 27th of January, we'll see the Nashville Predators in Edmonton. The 1st of February, we'll have them facing off against the Vancouver Canucks. And the 9th of February, the Nashville Predators will be making up a game against the Dallas Stars. Now, for the games that were canceled, all of them have been scheduled during what was to be the NHL Olympic break during February. Now, the Nashville Predators do not have nearly as many games to make up as some of the other squads. That's why you see the Nashville Predators playing on February 1st and not playing again until February the 9th. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, the Preds could use a break in the schedule right now. Through the first half of the season, there is no doubt that this high-intense, high-forechecking, physical, bring-the-jam-type game effort every single night, it's wearing the fellas down. John Hynes knows exactly what he's doing behind the bench. He knows what he's got out there on the ice. The team has exceeded expectations in the first half of the season, but if anybody hopes the team is going to continue exceeding expectations going into the second half of the season, and I do believe they are still coming together, and we might not see the final product of this team till the final 15 games, or maybe not even until next season, but you can see where John Hynes is leading this team. You can see how the roster is shaping up, and as David Poile heads towards the trading deadline, you've got to wonder, is he looking to bolster the defense? Matthias Ekholm being out, Dante Fabro being out has certainly exposed some limitations in the defensive prospect department. Harper simply is not a suitable fill-in for any length of time, and right now, seeing Ekholm and Fabro out of the lineup is making the defense look a lot more like Swiss cheese than the hard-hitting, pounding defense that we saw earlier in the season. So all of that is coming up, but that's all under the backdrop of a bunch more games before we get to the point where the Nashville Predators can get a rest. Now listen, I've talked a lot about the Preds. Let's talk a little bit about the Winnipeg Jets. Now, they're not that good of a hockey team, but they did beat the Nashville Predators 6-4 back in October, and now you go back and you take a look at their most recent stretch of hockey. They've only played 5 games since the beginning of the new year, and all of them on the road, and all of them, of course, taking place in the United States because of the difficulties of travel right now within Canada because of the COVID situation. So let's go back and look on January the 2nd at a 5-4 overtime win at Vegas. On the 4th of January, a 3-1 win at Arizona. And then on the 6th, a 7-1 loss at Colorado. It would be a week before they'd be on the ice again. They'd pick up a 3-0 victory at Detroit. And then another 5 days, the 18th of January, and it would be a 4-3 overtime loss at Washington. These two teams are comparable in a lot of different statistical metrics. Goals for, goals against, all very close. Now, the Nashville Predators goals for 3.02 is 15th best in the NHL, while the Winnipeg Jets find themselves at 16th. The Vancouver Canucks full game recap coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Have them still on the brain from just a few hours ago. Goals against, the Nashville Predators are 12th in the NHL, while the Winnipeg Jets are 15th. Shots for, Winnipeg is 9th. The Preds are 22nd. Only 29.5 shots on net per game. No, it is not quantity, it is quality, but the Nashville Predators don't have any of either either of those categories right now. They don't have enough quality, and they don't have nearly enough quantity in shots against. The Preds are 13th best in the NHL, while the Winnipeg Jets are 21st. Power play. You may be surprised to learn this because over the last few years, all you've heard is us complaining about the Nashville Predators power play. At 26% conversion, 32 out of 123 times, they have the fourth best power play currently in the National Hockey League. Vancouver Canucks, Winnipeg Jets have the 12th best power play in the league at 20.9%, 23 times out of 110 opportunities on the season. Preds penalty kill is 12th. The Jets penalty kill is 31st. They've given up 28 power play goals against. That is a place where the Nashville Predators on home ice need to take advantage of this weak Winnipeg Jets team. Of course, there are some high-skill individual players, as there always are. This is the National Hockey League, and no matter what roster you roll out there, there's always going to be a couple of really good players. The difference is who can put it together on a team-wide concept, who can play full 5-unit hockey out there on the ice, shift after shift after shift, and play a full 60. Well, the Winnipeg Jets aren't really a team that does that on a regular basis. The Nashville Predators have proven they can be that team, but as of late, defensive lapses, wearing down a little bit in games, not putting in a full 60. The Nashville Predators aren't exactly that team right now either, but they can get back to it. How are they going to do it? They're going to get back to basics is what they're going to do. They're going to start playing defense. They're going to start bringing the jam again. Let's give you the stats of these individuals. Connor is a terrorizer of the Nashville Predators. He already has 21 goals in the season. Add his 18 assists in that, and that's good for 39 points. Dubois at 16 and 12 for 28. Ehlers 13 and 12 for 25. Kopp, 10 and 15 for 25. And Mark Scheifele, who typically has very good games against the Nashville Predators as well, 9 goals and 16 assists for 25 points. Connor Hellebuyck, every one of you know that name, 14, 10, and 5, 915 save percentage of 2.78 goals against average. Your Nashville Predators are led in scoring by the captain, who is not an all-star. I don't want to use a whole lot of F words on this show right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and move on. But that is a travesty against hockey that Roman Josi, with 40 points on the season, 13 goals and 27 assists as a defenseman, is not an NHL All-Star. Matt Duchene has 17 goals and 18 assists for 35 points. Mikhail Granlund, 5 and 28 for 33. Ryan Johansson's at 11 and 20 for 31. And Philip Forsberg, 19 and 11 for 30 points. UC Saros now 20, 11 and 2 and 923 save percentage, a 2.43 goals against average. I've given you a lot to think about here in this preview of the Nashville Predators and the Winnipeg Jets. Coming up in moments is the Nashville Predators versus the Vancouver Canucks. Full game recap brought to you by Rebirth Sports. It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. RebirthSports.com is how you can find them, or on social media, Facebook and Twitter. You know all about Rebirth Sports. You see the jersey every show right now, wearing the home jersey, and I've been giving away a bunch of road jerseys. Just today, Secret Renegade Couriers delivered a jersey to Jonathan Schaefer over at 104.5 The Zone. And also last night, a Secret Renegade Courier delivered a jersey to Nashville Predators broadcaster and former Nashville Predator Chris Mason. You never know where Renegade Couriers are going to show up. I cannot thank Rebirth Sports enough for helping me with one of the best promotional stunts put on by any show. You know, there are outlets out there that have millions of dollars, tons of employees, disposable opportunities to do things with companies, and yet they never once think to do something as great as what the Renegades of Puck and what Rebirth Sports did over the last 2 weeks. It's the second time we've done this, and you better believe we'll be doing it again because it's as popular as can be. You never know where a Renegade Courier is going to show up with a brand new personalized jersey for a Renegade of Puck that has earned their colors. By the way, Rebirth Sports also has something very special coming out very soon for the Renegades of Puck. I'll just go ahead and tell you. Why not just blurt it out? It's a third jersey, everybody. Once the home jersey, once the road jersey go on sale, that's right, jerseys are going on sale very soon. I'll have full details about that. Listen, this is taking up all of Rebirth Sports time right here, talking about what we're going to be doing. But we're so excited about the Rebirth Sports partnership and all the things we're doing together that I wanted to tell you about it. Check them out, RebirthSports.com. Give them some love. Facebook, Twitter, they're incredible people. Instagram, you can also find them there. Give them some stick taps, some love and respect. Tell them how much you appreciate what they have allowed me as the captain of the Renegades of Puck to do for not only my crew in the Renegades of Puck, but also for the great viewers, the great listeners out there across the landscape. We sure do appreciate them. Now, let's get into that game. from just a few hours ago. It was the 18th of January in the year 2022, and the Nashville Predators were hosting the Vancouver Canucks. This is how the lines were deployed, according to head coach John Hines. Tobin and Johansson and Cunnin, Forsberg, Granlund, and Duchesne. Trenton, Sissons, and Jeannot, better known as the Herd line. Cousins, McCarron, and Tomasino make up your fourth line. Your defensive pairings, Yossi and Carrier, Davies and Benning, Borowiecki and Myers, and big save Dave Riddick gets the start in net for the Nashville Predators. We are 3:25 into the first period, and Patrick Demko makes a save on Davies. First shot of the game for the Nashville Predators, 6:24. McCarron versus Myers, 5 minutes each. No, Vancouver has their own Myers because at 7:08, the Nashville Predators Myers goes off to the box, 2 minutes for hooking. Riddick comes up with a save on Pearson, plus a rebound opportunity at close range, and then Carrier blocks 2 shots in the PK. Holds strong under the pressure. 10:49 in the first period. Yossi hits the post off of a perfect Forsberg feed. At 11:13, Riddick comes up with a save on Podkolzin and with the blocker arm. 14:03, Yossi with speed and power drives the goal line. Has to be stopped by Demko just before tucking in the secondary opportunity. 18:19, Davies off to the box. 2 minutes for cross-checking. Must have missed the memo where at the NHL level this year, they are calling simply everything that has a stick parallel in any type of push. Tough call, but it was a deserved call for Davies. He's off to the box. Miller misses the empty net for Vancouver on a sharp angle rebound opportunity. We hit the end of the first period. Vancouver out shooting Nashville 9-7. Carryover of that power play in favor of Vancouver for 19 seconds, where we find Dave Riddick making a big save on Bosser just before the end of the power play. 47 seconds into the second period, we see Jeannot build the wall, drive the net hard off of the rush, crash and burn while drawing a penalty on Bosser. 2 minutes for tripping at first. Chris Mason even theorized that this would potentially be a penalty shot, but I didn't quite see the qualifications for that, but he did a great job of driving the net hard, getting a scoring opportunity, and drawing the penalty against Bosser. Duchesne gets a breakaway. You rarely see that on a power play, but he breaks free, splits the D, and has to be stopped by Thatcher Demko. Demko then comes up with a huge save on Forsberg, but it is Philip Tomasino before the end of the power play with his 6th goal of the season, giving the Nashville Predators a 1-0 lead. Given plenty of time and space, he walks in from the top of the circle right to the face-off dot, and he lets that puck fly, putting it into the net. 3:36 with the Nashville Predators leading 1-0. We see Benning take a shot. Trenton gets a rebound opportunity, and he misses the net from the low slot. He looks to the heavens for sweet hockey Jesus, asking, why, oh why, did that puck not find its way to the back of the net? At 5:46, we see Riddick strong on the jam attempt. The support by the D causes a good scrum after the whistle. Great to see the Nashville Predators sticking up for their goaltender. At 7:23, Pettersson's 9th goal of the season ties this game at 1 apiece. It was a bar-down rebound crash following the rush. Riddick came up with the save on the first shot, and he got across in time to make the secondary save, but it was simply perfectly elevated to the bottom of the bar and into the back of the net. I don't think there's a goalie in the world that was going to stop this shot by Pettersson. 10:23 of the second period. Canucks hit the crossbar, and it was a ping that could be heard all the way in Kentucky. I think Perkins heard that one. 12:37 of the second period, Tomasino gets a shot off the cuff of Demko, just missing, putting another puck into net. Vancouver now is started to dominate play. They have tons of zone time, lots of puck possession, and frankly, the Nashville Predators do not look like they're playing against a 7th-place team right now. 16:35 of the second, Jeannot and Burrows go to the box 5 minutes each. Certainly not a victory for Jeannot, but not a loss either. 19:05, McCarron ends up with a breakaway, and that battleship is finding his way to go forehand, backhand. Unfortunately, no elevation on the backhand, and that makes Demko's job just a little bit easier as he comes up with the big save. We've got a tie game at the end of 2 periods. The Nashville Predators out shooting the Vancouver Canucks 22-19. We're a minute and 18 seconds into the third period, and Matt Benning is off to the penalty box. 2 minutes for interference. The captain, Roman Josi, comes up with a huge shot block that stuns and slows him down for the rest of the penalty kill. 1 shot on goal overall, plenty of zone time for Vancouver, but the Preds are able to maintain. 3:34 carries off the box, 2 minutes for high sticking. And at this point, we see Bosser scoring his 10th goal of the season, giving Vancouver a 2-1 lead. It was a face-off win, 1 pass, and a redirect at the top of the crease. It took a total of 7 seconds of power play time for the Vancouver Canucks to find themselves with a 2-1 lead in this game. I made a note right here because the Nashville Predators only have one shot on goal now in the previous 10 minutes of gameplay, the final minute of the second period and the first 9 minutes now of the third period. At 11:38, we see Demko come up with a save on Yossi as the Nashville Predators finally start putting some pucks back on net. But unfortunately for the Preds, 12:19, Lammikko comes up with his third goal of the season. He beats Duchesne and Riddick to the puck and puts the puck in the net, giving Vancouver a 3-1 lead. 14:35, Preds a chance to get back into it, and Mott goes off to the box 2 minutes before tripping, but Eeli Tolvanen hits the post on this one. Forsberg would be off to the box at 18:18. He took a penalty to avoid the empty net goal. He was certainly unhappy about it. There was a lot of reasons to be unhappy about it, but regardless, even if this play is called back, even if it's changed, it doesn't change the result of this game. At the end of this thing, the Nashville Predators, frankly, drop a game to a team that is not as good as them and a team that they should have been able to beat. They lose 3-1 on home ice to a seventh-place team in the Pacific Division where they have been playing such lights-out hockey as of late. Buffalo and now Vancouver put those games on the list with Montreal and Chicago earlier in the season. These now are 4 bad losses for the Nashville Predators. You cannot have more than 5 bad losses in a season if you hope to do anything special when it comes to attempting to win a division or attempting to gain one of the top seeds in the Western Conference. Now, the Nashville Predators are clearly playing above expectations at this point and only have 4 total bad losses. They've been beaten by teams. Of course, you're going to be beaten. It's a long schedule, and there are a lot of good hockey clubs across the NHL. But for the Nashville Predators to forget how to play hockey against Montreal, to drop one in Chicago when you looked absolutely listless, and now Buffalo, Vancouver, back-to-back here on home ice, just not looking very good. It's one thing to lose a tough game in Boston. It's one thing to get beaten down in St. Louis, but you cannot lose games to the Buffalo Sabres, and you cannot lose games to the Vancouver Canucks at this time of the year. What are you going to tell me next? That the Nashville Predators are going to lose to the Seattle Kraken? Shit, they already did that too. That's 5 bad losses this season. That's your Rebirth Sports full game recap. Thank you so much, Rebirth Sports. Dave Riddick in this game, 21 out of 24. I thought at times he was very solid, but for the Nashville Predators, just not able to generate nearly enough offense on the other end of the ice to make this game really worth it. So Dave Riddick goes 21 out of 24. Overall, I think that he needs more work. Nostradamus has been talking about this for quite some time now, how UC Saros has received so many starts over the course of the first half of the season. Now listen, Riddick was delayed a little bit because he started the season late while he was on the COVID list, but now he's there. He's ready to go, and he's a fully capable NHL goaltender, especially at the backup level. Why he didn't play against Arizona, I will not understand. But this game was tough for him. I think he needs more work. I think he can be sharper than he was. But overall, I cannot complain about his performance to this point. Sample size is just frankly too small on the season. Nostradamus is going to talk about that and a whole lot more. He handles everything that happens between the pipes. He is the starting goaltender of the Renegades of Puck. You can find him on Twitter at GreekGoalie35, and I cannot wait to hear what he has to say.
Thank you very much, Charlie. Another disappointing performance for the Nashville Predators here as of late, struggling 4 losses in a row. Only one of them did they even get a point in, and that was the game up in Boston. But again, they fall short 3-1 to Vancouver. It's now the 5th straight game that the Nashville Predators have given up at least 3 goals. The last time they did that, back in 2017, just before they went on that miraculous run towards the Stanley Cup final against the Pittsburgh Penguins. So take for that, if you're a glass half full person, maybe look at that and say they can recover and make a good run in the playoffs. But troubling trend again, giving up too many goals. And again, it's been a long time since the Preds have done something like that. A little bit of futility, unfortunately, for the Nashville Predators. And look, maybe this team is leveling off a little bit. You talk about the beginning of the season, they were 1-4. They're 0-3-1 in their last 4 games. Those games in between, those 32 games in between that, they were 23-7-2. So take for that what you will, but that's an incredible stretch of games there for 32 games for the Preds. To be that good. So again, perhaps possibly leveling off a little bit. Maybe they're not as good as we had thought maybe they would become. But again, halfway through the season, they're on pace for 102 points. You can't complain about that. Going into the season, I know a lot of us were thinking this was perhaps a fringe playoff team and possibly even a lottery team come draft time. But right now, 3rd place in the Central Division, not too shabby at all. In net, David Riddick, past my expectations. Hasn't played but once since December 9th and came up very large, especially in the first period on a penalty kill. Made a couple of very nice saves. He followed the puck very well, tracked it very well. Definitely doing some work when he does not play games. Definitely a different goaltender that we saw at the beginning of this season. He looked very strong out there. Gives us a little bit more confidence, perhaps, that you don't have to play UC Saros, 9, 10, 11 straight games in a row. And maybe you give him a little bit of rest and put David Rittich in there. He certainly deserved a better fate than he got tonight, unfortunately for him. The other end, though, the night belonged to Thatcher Demko. Just simply incredible performance by him. The Preds did put pressure on him. Didn't quite finish, of course. They had a couple posts against them. They had almost an own goal against Vancouver off a skate, off a post. Did not want to go through, but you make your own breaks sometimes, and unfortunately the luck is not with the Preds right now. Thatcher Demko, though, he's been red hot. He started every single game on this road trip for Vancouver. 5 games in 8 days for him, and definitely doesn't look any worse for wear at this point. So strong performance by him, and puts Nashville again in the L column. Next up for the Preds, still have Winnipeg coming into town on Thursday, followed by Detroit Saturday. So a couple teams that they should be able to get some victories on. Of course, Winnipeg, a longtime division rival. They have not played a home game, of course, since the COVID issues up in Canada. They haven't played a home game in a month. So they're another one of those Canadian teams that are just stuck on the road playing games, and they're trying to tread water basically until they can get back to home and possibly make a playoff push as well. Right now they're 4 points out of a playoff spot. Connor Hellebuyck, long history with him. We know what he's capable of in Winnipeg. 916 save percentage this season. Solid performance by him. Again, the lack of defense hurting them, of course, up in Winnipeg. That's a team that has lacked for defense for several years now. So Hellebuyck has been a guy that's kept them in games time and time again, even when they don't deserve it. So again, Nashville against Winnipeg. UC Saros will be back in net. I would say well-deserved rest, but it's really 2 days basically rest between tonight and Wednesday, and that they're right back at it on Thursday. So a little bit of break for UC Saros to get back, maybe work on a few things in his game, maybe get back to the UC Saros we saw earlier on this season. He's been spectacular. Hopefully a couple days rest will do him some good. So Nashville, Winnipeg, Thursday night at Bridgestone Arena. Charlie, take it away.
It's the starting goaltender of the Renegades of Puck, and he has been for so very long. Mosh, I need you here for the home base freakout, my friend. I know I'm asking a lot. I'm asking a big sacrifice. We need you here, my friend. Stick taps, love, and respect. All the other Renegades are going to be here. I don't think we can pull it off without you. You know who else we can't pull it off without? Strong Style Fitness, a certified personal trainer that's posted 150 workouts now from beginner to expert on YouTube completely for free. That's right, a donation-based service. A certified personal trainer that believes in her work so much that she's willing to give it to you completely for free. Try it out. If you don't like it, it won't cost you a penny. Again, I'll remind you, whether you're just getting started, you need to get off the couch and do a little stretch, or you're ready to throw around some iron, Tracy has all of the angles covered. She's incredible. She is detailed, and she is the epitome and the essence of no half-stepping. Please check out StrongStyleFit.com or search Strong Style Fit, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and give a little bit of love. Tracy and Strong Style Fit are doing an incredible job of helping us out, getting set for home base freakout. All of our partners, all of our sponsors are so heavily involved and committed to what we're doing here in the trenches that they are naturally going to be a part of the home base freakout. I wouldn't have it any other way. When we represent people we love, when they represent us, we want to bring everyone together in one big event. Strong Style Fitness is, of course, a huge part of that. I got to tell you, Sean C. Smith, he's not real happy right now. We've been talking back and forth. We always do. We go over the intel that he's gathered and collected, and I don't think he's very pleased at some of the things that he's seeing. There's some things creeping into the Nashville Predators game. There's some leakage out there, and Sean C. Smith is as good as any to go ahead and give me some opinions about that. So I'm looking forward to listening to what Sean has to say right here from ontheforecheck.com. You can find him on Twitter at SCSOTF. He's the best in the business. That's why he is on a myriad of shows all across the landscape of Nashville Predators coverage. He is the one and only Sean C. Smith.
Thanks, Charlie. Hey, Renegades, it's Sean C. Smith. Let's talk about the Canucks game. Not a lot to say. Let's be realistic. It wasn't the game anyone wanted to see unless you were a Canucks fan. And if that's the case, then maybe you're pretty happy. But if that's what you like to see, I guess that's good for you. It's not what I like to see. I like to see the Preds win. And they didn't win against the Canucks. And realistically, I think they should have. And I don't mean that I saw the style of play on the ice that was going to make it happen, but I'm not going to say they weren't playing hard, because the Predators played a hard game. They weren't trying to, nurse a lead on to win by one or anything. They were hitting everything that moved. One of the best examples of that, I thought, was Jeremy Davies, who got to play. I was really excited to see him on the ice, and I think he did a fine job. He was hitting anything that moved. He made a point very early on to let everybody on the Canucks know that he was going to be a force to be reckoned with, and I think they responded well. Now, unfortunately, it seemed to me like once the Canucks got that lead, that they kind of shut things down in the neutral zone and made it really hard for the Predators to get in. And realistically, we've learned that when the Predators play with a lead, they have a much better game. When they get behind, especially when they get behind a little bit earlier, that's when you start to see problems for this team. If we're going to talk about resilience, we're going to talk about the team playing a full 60, that's something that need to start seeing very quickly, or you're going to see this team fall from up here in the standings pretty quickly down. Because while we've been blissfully enjoying the the first place stuff, it has been a reality that you have teams behind the Predators in the standings that have games in hand. And as they start playing those games, you're going to see things shift. Now, as long as the Predators were winning, it didn't really matter because they stayed up there. But now that they've missed out on several points in a row, you're starting to see them drop in the standings. And if things don't get righted quickly, and what I mean by that is if the team doesn't start playing strong with a lead, or if the team can't play the game it needs to play when they get behind, I think we're going to see some bad things happen for the rest of the little next run here, and that's not what anybody wants to see. So, biggest takeaway, good stuff by Davies. Predators need to step it up and make sure that when they're a little bit behind, when they're playing with a little bit of a lead, they keep the pedal to the floor and never let up. And I think that's my biggest takeaway. I'm going to send it back over to you, Charlie.
Find him on Twitter at SCSOTF. Find his working on theforecheck.com. Or frankly, you can find Sean C. Smith just about anywhere right now. Talk about a rock star that's on his way to the moon, man. That guy is simply the best. Love Sean C. Smith. Cannot thank him enough for all the hard work he does here in the trenches. Stripe Digital Solutions is another incredible partner. If you only knew how hard Stripe Digital Solutions works to help your brand, you should find out for yourself. I am in awe of the amount of work that Brandy at Stripe Digital Solutions is able to do to help grow a brand and build an organization. She is assisting me with all of the social media campaigns that we are doing for Home Base Freakout. She built an extra section on the website to help get people more information. All of the graphics, all of the logos. Tailgate Brewery is so highly impressed with her work that they're just going to use her work instead of coming up with their own when we get all this stuff done for Home Base Freakout. Stripe Digital Solutions can help you with all of your business needs when it comes to the digital realm. Brandy is just absolutely the best. Top-notch work across the board. Stick taps, love, respect. How do you find Brandy? It's the easiest thing in the world. StripeDigitalSolutions.com or Facebook and Instagram or Twitter. Stripe Digital Solutions. We sure do appreciate Brandy so very much. The box score is about as easy and as light and as quick as can be to go through on this one. Phil Tomasino, I'm going to have some thoughts on him before we head out for the day, but I'll just give you the box score for now. Phil Tomasino, your only goal scorer for the Nashville Predators. Tolvanen picks up an assist. Carey picks up an assist. Your shots on goal leader, Phil Tomasino, had 5 in this game. Forsberg had 4. We go over to block shots. You'll see Alex Carey pacing the Preds with 3. In hits, it was Luke Cunnin with 5, and then Mark Borowiecki with 4. And then you'll see Gino and Forsberg with 3 apiece. No shocker here. Leading in time on ice, Mikhail Granlund, 21-43 out of the forward. On a night that was the second of back-to-backs, you see the ice time limited, 12 minutes, 17, 13, 14, 14, 8, 17, 13, 12. You only see Mikhail Granlund skating 21-43. When you flip to the defensive side of things, you see Roman Josi adding almost another 30 minutes of time on ice, 29-13 in this game. Frankly, the Nashville Predators need to bolster that D. They need to be able to take a little bit of pressure off of Roman Josi, and they cannot get Matthias Ekholm and Dante Fabro back in the lineup fast enough. So 29-13 in time on ice for Roman Josi in this game. And, of course, big save, Dave Riddick, 21 out of 24, 6 shorthanded saves in this game. You know who else has some numbers, and they're way more impressive than the numbers I just gave you. He runs the Renegade Analytics desk. He's got the numbers you need to know, and just last night, he was here in the bunker meeting me, being dispatched for the most secret and important mission of his time with the Renegades of Puck. I handed him a jersey for Chris Mason, and I said I expect this to be given to Chris Mason tonight at Bridgestone Arena. That very thing happened. Brian Baston is simply the best. It was great meeting him. It was great seeing him. It was great hugging Brian. He runs my Renegade Analytics desk. He's got the numbers that you need to know, and you can find those charts at ontheforecheck.com. Find him on Twitter at Brian Baston. Brian, take it away.
Thanks, Charlie. Unfortunately, the Predators suffered their fourth straight loss tonight, a 3-1 decision to the Vancouver Canucks in a game that most people and most fans were hoping would be a bounce-back game after yesterday's loss to the St. Louis Blues. Nashville now has to prepare for a big matchup in the Central Division on Thursday against the Winnipeg Jets, but first they've got to clean up a lot of things because this game was, for the lack of a better word, pretty sloppy. One of the reasons why the sloppiness might have happened is the number of rookies that played in today's game, especially on the blue line. 3 out of the 6 defenders were rookies, including Alexandre Carrier, Jeremy Davies, and Philippe Myers, all who were getting limited time before this point, with the exception of Carrier. However, not all is lost for these rookies. Nashville still leads the league in rookies goals scored by rookies with 21, is second in the league with rookies scoring in points with 58, and leads the league in rookie power play goals. I talked to Roman Josi about the importance of having these rookie players, especially the blue liners, and how they've come into the game and been able to adjust to the NHL scheme.
Hey, Roman, because of health issues, you guys have been forced to play a lot of younger players, especially on the defense board tonight. How would you evaluate the guys that you played with tonight, like Carrier, Davies, and Myers, in kind of a big game on the second half of the back-to-back?
Yeah, I thought they were great. I mean, obviously, Carsey's been he's been playing really well since he came up last year, and this year too. He's got an important role. He's playing a lot of minutes. I think he's a great player. He's been playing really well, and I've played with him the last couple of games, and yeah, he's an awesome player. And I think Micey obviously came here this year, and he hasn't played that many games, but every time he steps in, he plays really well. He's a great guy. He's a great defenseman, a really good skater. Plays really hard, and same with Davis. I think it's it's not easy when you have to step in. You don't play a lot of games, and then you come into a big game. And I thought those 3 guys did a great job.
You can find him on Twitter at Brian Baston. You can read his charts and check his work at ontheforecheck.com. You can watch him right here on Renegades of Puck TV. Brian is simply the best. Just another Renegade of Puck that's jumped in the trenches and gone full speed and full no half-stepping. Just like Nostradamus, just like Sean C. Smith, like the Ultimate One, and especially Kyle Perkins. You know, you don't get to see or hear Kyle Perkins on this show, but you do get to see Perks works, and you get to see them all the time. Every meme, every visual that's not one of our classic graphics that you see, those are all made by Kyle Perkins. Of course, if you're on Twitter, you see those memes all the time. They really add to the show, and they really add to the presentation. And Perk, I could not do the show without your help and your assistance. You are an otherworldly talent. All of the Renegades have such incredible creative talents and abilities. It's my job to bring that out of them, and I think we're starting to do that. New Renegades of Puck coming online and joining the show very soon, messaging back and forth with a couple of critical new correspondents that are going to be bringing you a couple of different looks at a couple of different hockey stories and some different content. I am so excited, Renegades, to have them as part of the show. We'll introduce them as they come online and as they get activated. Very much looking forward to seeing each and every one of you Renegades in the trenches. Before we head out, as always, I just have a couple of thoughts. I've already mentioned how I think that David Poile should perhaps go out there and bolster the D. There are plenty of teams that are either failing at the expectations that they had going into the season or are simply not very good, but they probably do have a decent piece on the blue line that maybe the Nashville Predators could be interested in. Now, the cupboard itself is not exactly overflowing with prospects or with draft picks right now, so David Poile will have to pick and choose carefully. I am not advocating in any way, shape, or form that David Poile make some kind of massive move, gigantic trade to bring in some big-name defenseman. What I am advocating for, though, is finding the right team with the right defensive supplement and making a deal that makes sense from a Nashville Predators perspective. We'll start going through the list of options and potential candidates here as we get a little bit closer to the trade deadline. But I truly think bolstering the D is something very important for the Nashville Predators. Without Ekholm in the lineup, with Fabro out right now, the Nashville Predators are looking very leaky on the back end. I'm just happy to see Davies getting an opportunity. I do think he is a prospect of the future. On the forward side of things, Philip Tomasino, he is developing. He's playing really good hockey. Is he scoring as many goals as he could or possibly should? No, not at this point in his development. But what he's doing out there is getting solid shifts, solid minutes, and last night he was the most noticeable Nashville Predator on the ice. Looked good out there. Driving the net hard, taking good shots, chasing and following the puck to the net. That's the kind of thing you want to see from a young player at this level. Philip Tomasino is going to have plenty of time to continue progressing. The Nashville Predators clearly believe in him and are clearly going to let him continue getting used to being an everyday NHLer. One day, he will move up from the fourth line and get more minutes. But for right now, I truly think we should be patient and allow the growth process to take its course. Philip Tomasino is going to be a very good player for this Nashville Predators team. And I would like to point out the example of Eeli Tolvanen. Eeli Tolvanen is not lighting the lamp the way some of you had anticipated or expected this season. But I have got to tell you, since John Hines and since this coaching staff has taken Eeli Tolvanen in and started working with him, his game has changed dramatically. No, he's not scoring at the pace that we had hoped that he would, but everything else about his game is incredible. He is extremely detailed. He is very physical. He doesn't give up on plays. And again, just like Tomasino is developing, remember, Tolvanen is still a very young player at this NHL level and is still developing. There's no doubt that he is also going to be a huge part of this Nashville Predators team for many, many years to come. For now, what I would advocate is, while these players aren't scoring as much as perhaps you might like, I would advocate that you pay attention to them, shift in and shift out. Watch what they do the whole time they're out there on the ice. Watch how they keep their feet moving. Watch how they look for contact. They don't shy away from it. These are players that are going to be incredibly important to the Nashville Predators moving forward. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Renegades of Puck TV. While we've been on the air, I've probably received another half a dozen messages about incredible things that are going to be happening at Home Base Freakout. So I can't wait. I can't wait. My life's work has come to this moment. The Home Base Freakout is a vision that I have had for so long, and it is happening. It is a real thing. And each and every one of you are going to be a part of it. You're going to have an opportunity to be a part of it. We have foregone having sponsors in order to make this make sense for every single person we want to invite. There aren't going to be any crossed lines. We're dropping all of our lines, all of our colors, all of our affiliations for one night. It's that one night where the hockey community can come together. It's the vision I've had for my entire life. It's the vision that we, with Tailgate Brewery, are going to execute. Thousands of renegades in celebration of the glorious game, raising their glasses together, enjoying one night. I can't wait. You thought Dallas was fun? Dallas was just the beginning. What we do at the Home Base Freakout will set the stage for the Renegades of Puck to dominate the landscape for years to come. We're doing it, people. I expect every one of you to participate, and I expect you to help build the Renegades of Puck big enough that there's no negative entity that can ever take us down. For Mostradamus, for Sean C. Smith, for Brian Baston, for Kyle Perkins, the Ultimate Predator, and each and every one of our VIP special guests coming up at the Home Base Freakout, stick taps, love, respect. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier.